Hi, welcome to House News. In this episode, we will present you the latest information coming from the House of Representatives of Indonesia. Before we get started, here are some headlines for today. The Committee for Interparliamentary Cooperations of the House hopes IPA can have a strong role in promoting human rights, democracy, peace, security, and prosperity, aligning with ASEAN's shared goals. Vice Speaker of the House welcomed a visit from the South Korean ambassador, emphasizing the commitment to strengthening bilateral relations. Commission 7 of the House urges MindID to boost PT Vale's share divestments, aiming to become the majority shareholders and strengthen Indonesia's control over a key national assets in the mining sector. The Hajj Supervisory Team recommends the government effectively utilize the increased Hajj cost to enhance the quality of services provided to pilgrims. Resorts World Cruises is creating history in Indonesia with the arrival of the World One cruise ship in Jakarta for her seasonal homeport deployment in the country. BKSAP of the House stressed a strong IPA to ensure ASEAN stays on track with the shared goals. Furthermore, the House urgently requested an ad hoc committee for Myanmar as agreed at the 2023 IPA General Assembly.
Chairperson of BKSAP of the House, Fadlizon, mentions the resolutions to form the ad hoc committee was one of the agreements made during the 44th IPA Political Committee meeting in Jakarta in 2023. This committee is necessary to facilitate a peaceful and sustainable resolution for Myanmar. Fadli pointed out the House ensured the 2023 IPA resolution on Myanmar is addressed before the 45th IPA meeting in Laos in October 2024.
Untuk merealisasikan badan ad hoc itu untuk melihat bagaimana parlemen ASEAN itu bisa ikut berkontribusi dalam proses perdamaian di Myanmar. Nah, kita tidak ingin resolusi itu berhenti di resolusi, tapi ada follow up atau tindak lanjut dari resolusi terkait kemungkinan terbentuknya satu komite atau komisi ad hoc tentang Myanmar. Kita berharap ada satu inisiatif ya, termasuk dari Indonesia, kita dari DPR, dari BKSAP akan berinisiatif untuk segera terbentuknya satu komisi ad hoc terkait dengan Myanmar. Dan tadi Sekjen IPA juga sepakat karena itu sudah menjadi keputusan waktu itu di Jakarta dalam pertemuan tahun lalu.
Up to the present, the prolonged conflict in Myanmar triggered by differing views on the outcome of the 2021 elections has caused a significant refugee exodus. Therefore, the Committee for Interparliamentary Cooperation of the House demands IPA's commitment to implementing the resolution on Myanmar crisis. From Nusa Dua, Bali, Mahir N. Sigit, TVA Parlemen Report.
Vice Speaker of the House recently received a courtesy visit from the Ambassador of the Republic of Korea to Indonesia. The meeting explored ways to strengthen economic and defense cooperations between the two countries.
Vice Speaker for Economic and Financial Affairs Sufmi Dasko Ahmad welcomed a visit from a delegation led by the South Korean ambassador to Indonesia, Lee Sang-dok. The visit is commitment of both countries to strengthen bilateral relations. Furthermore, Sufmi Dasko explained the South Korean ambassador mentioned an interest in partnering on economic development, specifically focusing on modernizing agriculture and using renewable energy sources.
Ya, tadi Duta Besar menyampaikan bahwa mereka tertarik bekerja sama dalam bidang pertanian. Mereka akan konsentrasi membuat alat-alat pertanian baru, kemudian juga konsentrasi di bidang energi baru terbarukan. Dan kemudian meningkatkan kerjasama dengan industri pertahanan yang selama ini memang sudah terjadi dan terjalin kerjasama yang bagus.
In addition, Sufmi Dasko emphasized the mutual commitment of both countries to further strengthen their collaborations in the well-established defense industry. By deepening cooperation in this key sector, Indonesia and South Korea aim to enhance defense capabilities and contribute to broader regional stability and prosperity. Zikri and Denus, TVA Parlemen Report.
PT Vale Indonesia receives 20-year extension contract on special mining business license. Commission 7 of the House demands Mine ID to increase the divestment of PT Vale Indonesia shares and become the majority shareholders.
Vice Chairperson of Commission 7 of the House Bambang Heriadi said Commission 7 approved the Minister of Energy and Mineral Resources to be the majority shareholder in the negotiation of divestment of PT Vale shares. The requirement for extending PT Vale Indonesia's contract through a special mining business license align with the provisions outlined in Law No. 3 of 2020. The current share divestment has made Mine ID become the largest shareholder of PT Vale Indonesia, owning 34% of the company shares. In other words, Mine ID has been given the authority to oversee and manage the financial and operational integrations.
Untuk menjadi saham pengendali itu harus 43 minimal ya. Harapan kami sih 51, tapi kita setelah diskusi dengan Mine ID 43 kita pikir sudah cukup. Kan walaupun harapan tertinggi kita adalah 51%. Tapi dengan 43% kita sudah bisa konsolidasi keuangan dan juga bisa konsolidasi operasional gitulah kan. Karena selama ini operasional dan keuangan masih dikendalikan PT Vale. Dan yang paling menyedihkan adalah saham PT Vale ini masih tercatat di bursa di Kanada sana gitu kan. Kita berharap bahwa ke depan PT Vale bisa tercatat di bursa keuangan Indonesia gitu.
Furthermore, Bambang added the divestment of PT Vale Indonesia shares is a step towards strengthening the independence of national assets. Samuel and Julian, TVR Parliament Report.
After the break, we will have more information on Hajj 2024. So stay tuned on House News. The Hajj Supervisory Team of the House highlights the 2024 Hajj budget considering the increase in Hajj costs as reasonable due to the recent exchange rate. This currency fluctuations has directly caused the rise in pilgrimage cost.
Member of the Hajj Supervisory Team of the House John Kennedy Aziz explains the rise in Hajj expenses by approximately 2 million rupiah is due to the weakening rupiah exchange rate against the dollar. This has resulted in increased transportations, accommodations, and consumption costs for the 2024 Hajj pilgrimage. The Indonesian rupiah has weakened against the US dollar with the exchange rate increasing from 15,200 rupiah per dollar in 2023 to 6,000 rupiah per dollar in 2024. However, John Kennedy hopes the Ministry of Religious Affairs will use this increase effectively. The cost rise should lead to improvements in the quality of Hajj pilgrimage services.
Sekarang kita ketahui kan nilai tukar rupiah terhadap mata uang asing adalah 16 ribuan lebih gitu kan ya. Jadi akibat dari kenaikan nilai tukar rupiah itu tentu saja akan menyebabkan penambahan daripada jumlah biaya haji itu. Dan itu bisa kita maklumi kalau pemerintah artinya bisa menganggarkan sedemikian. Tapi dengan catatan jangan sampai kualitas pelayanan terhadap jamaah haji menjadi terganggu.
The government and the House had reached an agreement earlier to increase the cost of the 2024 Hajj pilgrimage to 93.4 million rupiah. This amount includes the Hajj travel costs that each pilgrim must pay, which is 56 million rupiah. TVR Parliament Team reports.
In an inspection to the Indonesian Hajj pilgrim tents in Mina, Saudi Arabia, the chairperson of the Hajj Supervisory Team of the House found a number of complaints regarding inadequate facilities in the tent.
The chairpersons of the Hajj Supervisory Team of the House, Muhaimin Iskandar, observed several issues concerning the conditions of the pilgrim tent, which were considered below the requirements. Reports indicate pilgrims are exceeding tent capacity and lack of fairness in tent distributions. This situation requires immediate attention. To address this, Muhaimin Iskandar urged the implementations of a new system for arranging pilgrim placements to prevent similar incidents from happening again.
Satu orang cuma 0,8 meter. Artinya 1 meter nggak nyampe. Mana bisa tidur, akhirnya tidur di lorong. Ini tidak boleh terulang. Yang kedua, ada tenda yang berlebihan, luas, leluasa. Ini nggak adil, cara pembagian yang salah. Karena itu, ke depan tiap tenda harus ukuran per orang per nama, kayak di hotel.
Moreover, Muhaimin hopes in the future the needs of Hajj pilgrims can be carefully planned from the beginning. He demands a comprehensive reorganizations to ensure Hajj pilgrims can perform their pilgrimage optimally.
Rasio kamar mandi nggak imbang, mengantri sampai 2 jam, ada yang pingsan, kemudian kebersihan tidak terjaga. Ngapain bikin wudhu pakai wastafel, harusnya wudhu biasa saja.
From Mina, Saudi Arabia, Sigit Rilo, TVR Parlemen reports.
Hajj Supervisory Team of the House underlines the growing number of elderly Hajj pilgrims experiencing dementia in Mecca. As the number of elderly reaches tens of thousands, strategies need to be developed to manage these issues.
Member of Hajj Supervisory Team of the House, Sally Andriani Gantina, said government needs to implement a strict early health detections for prospective pilgrims, especially the elderly. Furthermore, Sally mentioned elderly pilgrims have a high potential to experience mental health problems such as dementia. Therefore, Sally demands standard regulations from the Ministry of Health regarding health screening.
Karena rata-rata untuk screening di daerah, yang dijadikan petugasnya itu adalah orang-orang yang memang labkes yang memang punya standar yang berbeda-beda, terutama di kabupaten kota. Nah, tentu PR untuk Kemenkes bahwa ke depan mereka harus punya SOP tentang standarisasi petugas yang akan melakukan screening untuk khususnya untuk demensia.
Another member of the Hajj Supervisory Team, Syarif Abdullah Al-Qadri, warns unaddressed dementia in Hajj pilgrims can hinder the spiritual experience of others.
Demensia ya, artinya ini kalau ini bisa dideteksi sejak awal, harusnya hal-hal seperti ini, jamaah seperti ini udah harus tidak diberangkatkan. Karena dia akan membawa persoalan, baik kenyamanan maupun dari sisi keamanan. Nah, ini terjadi di maktab sini, di Kalbar ternyata ada.
From Mina, Saudi Arabia, Sigit Rilo, TVR Parlemen reports.
After the break, we will have more information on Jakarta's anniversary. Stay tuned on House News. Resorts World Cruises claims to be the first international cruise lines to homeport in Jakarta, Indonesia. The cruise will sail from Jakarta during the school holidays, offering 4 round-trip and 5-night cruises to Singapore and Port Klang in Kuala Lumpur.
Quoting from Jakarta Globe, starting on June 16 to July 1st, the Resort World One cruise ship will homeport Jakarta and will offer 4 round trips to Singapore and Kuala Lumpur. The ship will depart from Jakarta's Tanjung Priok port. According to the press release, the trip offers halal meals including dishes popular in Malaysia and Singapore. From Singapore, the cruise ship will sail to Kuala Lumpur. Trips start at 10 million rupiah per guest with a twin sharing cabin. If a cabin is available, the 3rd and 4th passengers can get on the cabin free of charge. Travel costs are also inclusive, as they include dinner at certain venues, access to live international stages, and other recreational activity facilities. Guests can also choose from a variety of accommodations, ranging from interior staterooms to ocean view, balcony staterooms, and the palace, which are private luxury suites equipped with an exclusive restaurant, sun deck, gym, and other facilities. You can also enjoy various international and Asian dishes at 18 restaurants and bars. The Roman Empire theme pool with Caesar slide and jacuzzi, van virtual games, duty-free shopping activities, spas, various workshops, as well as movie shows at night over the ocean.
Jakarta Fair Kemayoran, the largest, most comprehensive, and longest-running exhibition in Southeast Asia, has officially started. Spending free time by visiting the Jakarta Fair can be one of the choices for some fun times.
There are so many activities that you can do while going to the Jakarta Fair. With so many choices, you are probably a bit confused on which thing to do first. So here are some recommendations of activities that you should not miss when you go to the Jakarta Fair at JI Expo Kemayoran. First, you can come and enjoy a variety of snacks that pamper your tongue. You can try a variety of Betawi specialties or culinary from other regions of the archipelago. You can even try snacks or other contemporary foods. In Jakarta Fair, you can find performances of local music or from your favorite famous artists. You can watch their performance in the main stage area. To come to this concert, you need to buy bundling ticket, which can purchase through the official website. The most mandatory thing you do at the Jakarta Fair is hunt for discounted good. You can even get the opportunity to participate in a lucky draw after giving promo items. The choice of good is very complete, ranging from vehicles, household appliances, clothes, school supplies, skincare, or items with regional characteristics. There is also a variety of entertainment over here, ranging from a carnival parade, lion dance night, various games at the night market, or enjoying a lively fireworks show at the closing of the Jakarta Fair. If you are a typical person who likes the festivities, note the date to enjoy the festival at the Jakarta Fair.
South Korea will introduce a new K-Culture visa for foreigners to receive entertainment industry training as part of a comprehensive plan to boost its tourism industry back to pre-pandemic levels.
Quoted from Yahoo, South Korea will soon launch a new visa for foreign nationals who dream of training like a K-pop idol. The culture training visa will be open to foreigners who want to train in K-pop dancing, choreography, and modeling. This visa will enable non-Korean individuals who register at local performing arts academies to stay in the country for up to 2 years. The Hallyu wave, such as K-pop, K-dramas, and movies, is at the heart of this initiative. The K-pop industry alone is valued at $10 billion and has become an integral part of South Korea's economy. In fact, the country's GDP experienced fluctuations following the hiatus announcements by the K-pop group BTS. Additionally, South Korea is also introducing a separate visa for digital nomads in response to the growing trend of remote work. This visa, which commenced on January 1st, allows remote workers earning at least $66,000 annually to stay in the country for up to 2 years. This move positions South Korea as a competitive destination for remote workers in various sectors, including technology and finance. As further reported, the South Korean government will relax rules regarding the group tourist applications for electronic travel authorizations. Among other facilities, the government will also establish unmanned immigration checkpoints at several ports in order to reduce the time needed to screen tourists on cruise ships.
And that's House News for today. Thank you for watching and see you next time.